Hey, everybody, good afternoon, and I'm going to take a risk. I'm taking a risk in this video. I am going to plunge myself into a little bit of off-season drama. And it ain't even really any of my business because this isn't the Seahawks, but you know what? It's a rival team, and there's some smoke here, and you know what they say about smoke. When there's smoke, there's usually some fire. So, one of our rivals within the division is having a little bit of an issue with one of their star players going into this offseason. And a couple different angles that we can talk about this from, but let's just go ahead and lay out what we know. So, the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray have concluded a very promising 2021 season that ended up crashing and burning in the playoffs. They settled for a wild card spot, and once they got into the playoffs, they got demolished. The end of the year run included a blowout loss to the Lions, and they lost a game that cost them the division in Week 18 against your Seattle Seahawks. So it was a disappointing way for their season to end for sure. And Kyler Murray just finished his third season in the NFL, which means he can now request a contract extension. Now, he is still under contract for a fourth year, and there is the fifth year option, but he is now eligible for an extension. And if he does not get an extension, he can choose to hold out. So, the reason why this is becoming very interesting is that last week, Kyler Murray scrubbed all references to the Arizona Cardinals from all of his social media accounts. And his agent was asked about this, and he basically next questioned it. The old Drew Rosenhaus, if you all remember that, with T.O. The team basically said, hey, we still like him. He's still our guy, da-da-da-da-da. Kyler himself was relatively silent about it. There was some indication from guys like Larry Fitz and Christian Kirk and DeAndre Hopkins that something was going on. The rumor was that Murray was looking for a $45 million a year extension and that he was immature, petulant, and self-centered, and somebody who'd like to put the blame on other people. There were a lot of negative phrases being thrown out there like that from a Chris Mortensen report on Sunday, and it really wasn't looking good for Murray's side of things. He was kind of looking like he was being a personality problem. He came out with a statement yesterday where he basically said, I'm not about any of this. I'm here to win. I love my teammates, da-da-da-da-da. But doesn't seem like this stuff is going to go away anytime soon. So basically, it seems like the relationship between Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals is starting to fray. And if you take a look at Kyler Murray so far, he's young. He's going to turn 25 this offseason. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. He won Rookie of the Year. If you take a look at what he's done so far in the NFL, it's good, right? High completion percentage, good touchdown to interception ratio, but losing record, no playoff wins, 1 playoff appearance, and no seasons where you would look at the stat line and go, wow, that guy is going to be an MVP candidate. He starts out like an MVP candidate sometimes, but he flames out by the end. And his rushing stats do obviously help his case a lot. He had over 800 rushing yards in 2020, but his abilities as a runner also are kind of his biggest weakness because every year it seems like he gets dinged up and becomes a much worse player in the second half of the season. So what I'm trying to say here is if the Cardinals and Kyler Murray keep it together for at least one more year, can we please play both of our Cardinals games in December this year? How about that? But anyway, so Kyler Murray's good. Kyler Murray can play. Kyler Murray can do some stuff. But when you take a look at his career accomplishments so far, I don't know if you're coming away thinking we need to make that guy the second highest paid player in football behind Pat Mahomes. I don't know if you're looking at that and going, we need to pay that guy more than the Packers are paying Rodgers or the Seahawks are paying Russell Wilson. I don't know if you're looking at that guy and going, yeah, that guy, we got to pay him more than the Cowboys paid Dak Prescott. So it seems like there might be a little bit of a standoff here. We'll see where it goes. And obviously, in this division, we could sure use a team that goes into the tank. And if you take a look at the Arizona Cardinals situation going into this offseason, it's not good. They've got a lot of relatively high profile free agents, and they don't have any money. They've got very little cap space. Chandler Jones, Zach Ertz, AJ Green, James Conner, Christian Kirk, these guys all could stay or go this offseason. There isn't a lot of money to go around. If you take a look at their actual salary cap situation in 2022, they're married to DeAndre Hopkins, massive cap hit. They need a quarterback who can get them the ball. They're married to J.J. Watt. There are obviously some things they can do, and I'm sure they will do those things. But this is not a team in a great situation, and if they lose their quarterback because of this, it puts them in an even worse one. So here's the question, because I was thinking about this. I was thinking to myself, oh man, it sure would be cool if the Arizona Cardinals messed it up with their quarterback, right? If something was done, if something was said to where the relationship frayed to where he demanded out and the Cardinals had to trade him, and they would obviously get a decent amount back in the trade. They would get a haul, but there would be very little salary cap relief. There are no quarterbacks on the free agency market that would really be able to come in and save the situation. But here's the thing. So, knowing what we know about Kyler Murray, I want to ask this question. As a fan of the Seahawks, where you know the Niners are going to be a problem for a while, and you know the Rams are going to still be good for a while, probably until they lose Sean McVay. But you know those teams are going to be a problem, and you're looking at the Cardinals and you're going, I really wish this team would go away so we could at least have one team to beat up on in the division. Would you rather, A, have the Cardinals be forced to trade Kyler Murray, hopefully to the AFC, maybe, I don't know, the Steelers, maybe a team like the Texans? You'd figure Kyler wouldn't be okay with that, but who knows? I think he says he didn't grow up a Cowboys fan, but I think people found the receipts on that and figured out that was a bunch of BS. And he would get to play in AT&T Stadium. Oh, I'm sorry, not AT&T Stadium. He would get to play in a Reliant Stadium, rather. That's not the Magic Stadium for him, but wherever. Maybe he goes to Tampa Bay. Some people are saying that as well. At the very least, he gets out of the division. And then the Cardinals have to find another quarterback with a brutal salary cap situation really holding them back. Or would you rather the Cardinals give $45 million a year, literally maybe $180 million over 4 years, to a guy like Kyler Murray, who is good, but seems to get dinged up every year, seems like he's not elite, seems like he might be overstating himself a bit, seems like he might think more highly of himself than he should, and seems like he might have an attitude problem. I mean, I'm not here to knock a guy who made 2 Pro Bowls in his first 3 years, but after 3 years, Russell Wilson had a Super Bowl and 2 Super Bowl appearances and 6 playoff wins. So yeah, I'm not seeing the accomplishments stacking up here, Kyler. Just putting that out there. But what would you rather have? Because it's not like the Seahawks have a huge problem against Kyler. I think career we're 3-2 against Kyler so far, and he's not the next MVP. And what would the Cardinals do if Kyler demanded out? Would they enter the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes because they need to continue to push because they already kind of went all in and they can't bail out on that now? And obviously Kingsbury will be trying to save his job at that point. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm going to put a poll in the I'm going to put a poll in the comments. I'm going to put a poll in the video description as well, but you guys let me know what you think. If this is actually something that could happen, because for all we know, these guys are doing some WWE thing in the background where they're trying to just make the offseason a little more interesting, right? And maybe this all gets made up by the end of the season, or end of the offseason, and maybe there's nothing really to talk about here. This is just off-season fluff. But if there is nothing here, then Kyler is definitely doing some work to make it seem like there is something here. So, what would you rather have? Are you afraid of Kyler Murray? Because I know Kyler Murray's better than anybody they could sign out of free agency this offseason if they have to trade him. And I think he's better than anybody in this draft because I'm not seeing a whole hell of a lot in this draft at QB. But I don't know. Would you rather have the Cardinals marry themselves to a crippling contract with Kyler, or would you rather see them have to get rid of him? Interesting thought. Definitely something brewing over there, it seems like. And it's something to keep an eye on because, like I said, we could really use the Cardinals going away because the Niners aren't and the Rams aren't. All right. I'll see you guys later today. Streams later. Peace out. Go Hawks. Gonna be an interesting offseason, not just for us.